Hello, we're our Lives channel. Today we will learn about the explosive developments unfolding in Salem on Monday, October 6, 2025, where shocking confrontations, dangerous alliances, and unexpected reunions threaten to shake the very foundation of several relationships. A dangerous alliance forms against DiMera. The tension in Salem reaches a boiling point as Rafe Hernandez and the controversial Cat Green join forces to orchestrate what could be the most dangerous takedown attempt in recent history. Their target is none other than DiMera, one of Salem's most powerful and ruthless figures, whose dirty dealings have remained hidden in the shadows for far too long. Cat, who is still reeling from the aftermath of her deceptive impersonation of Abigail DiMera, now finds herself in an impossibly complicated position as she works undercover with the former police commissioner. The irony of the situation cannot be understated. Cat is currently romantically involved with Chad DiMera, EJ's brother, which adds layers of deception and betrayal to an already precarious operation. Rafe has devised what he believes is a foolproof strategy to infiltrate EJ's criminal organization and expose the evidence they need to bring him down. But the plan requires Cat to walk a dangerous tightrope between her developing feelings for Chad and her commitment to justice. The question remains whether Cat possesses the experience and emotional fortitude necessary to pull off such a high-stakes operation without getting caught or compromising her own safety. A ghost from Stephanie's past arrives with flowers. In what can only be described as one of the most uncomfortable and unexpected moments of the week, Jeremy Horton makes his dramatic return to Salem by showing up unannounced at Stephanie Johnson's doorstep, flowers in hand. This reunion comes at the absolute worst possible time for Stephanie, who just took the monumental step of moving in with Alex Kyriakis and is finally beginning to feel settled in her relationship. Jeremy, portrayed by newcomer Michael Rourke, who takes over the role from Trevor Donovan, brings with him a dark and troubled history that Stephanie has spent years trying to forget. Their previous relationship was marked by emotional abuse, lies, and Jeremy's involvement in criminal activities that nearly destroyed Stephanie's life back in 2007. According to recent revelations from Julie, Jeremy has returned to Salem because he secured a teaching position in town, though the timing of his arrival raises serious questions about his true intentions. Adding to the unsettling nature of his return, someone has been lurking around Stephanie's vicinity for days, carrying flowers and a copy of her book One Stormy Night, suggesting that Jeremy may have been stalking her before making his grand appearance. Stephanie was visibly shaken when she opened the door to find her ex-boyfriend standing there without any warning or phone call, and the encounter promises to test not only her relationship with Alex, but also her ability to maintain the boundaries she's worked so hard to establish. The fact that Jeremy secured a teaching job in October, well after the school year has already begun, strikes many as suspicious and raises the question of whether his professional reasons for returning to Salem are legitimate or merely a convenient excuse to reconnect with Stephanie. Thomas confronts his father about a devastating discovery. In one of the most emotionally charged moments of the episode, young Thomas DiMera musters the courage to confront his father Chad about a shocking revelation that threatens to shatter what remains of their family stability. Thomas recently learned from Rachel that his father has been kissing Cat Green, the woman who cruelly impersonated his late mother Abigail and reopened wounds that the family had barely begun to heal. For Thomas, this betrayal cuts deeper than anyone could imagine. He watched his father grieve for years after losing Abigail, and now he must process the confusing and painful reality that Chad has developed romantic feelings for someone who exploited their family's trauma for her own purposes. The confrontation between father and son will force Chad to explain the inexplicable and justify choices that even he struggles to understand fully. Thomas, who has already endured more loss and heartbreak than most children his age, now faces the additional burden of questioning whether his father's judgment can be trusted when it comes to protecting their family from further harm. This conversation represents a critical turning point in their relationship, as Chad must find a way to be honest with his son about his complicated feelings for Cat while also reassuring Thomas that his love and commitment to his children remains unwavering. Kayla offers crucial guidance to Jennifer. As tensions continue to escalate surrounding Cat Green's presence in Salem, Kayla Johnson finds herself in the position of counselor and confidant to Jennifer Horton, who is struggling to contain her rage and resentment toward the woman who dared to impersonate her beloved daughter. Jennifer's emotional state has deteriorated significantly since Kat's true identity was exposed, and her inability to understand why Kat remains in Salem, let alone why she's romantically involved with Chad, has pushed her to the breaking point. Kayla, drawing on her years of medical experience and personal understanding of loss, attempts to provide Jennifer with perspective and guidance on how to navigate this impossibly difficult situation. The advice Kayla offers likely centers on the importance of trust, forgiveness, and allowing Chad the freedom to make his own choices, even when those choices seem incomprehensible to those who love him. Jennifer must somehow find a way to balance her protective maternal instincts with the recognition that continuing to harbor such intense hatred toward Kat will only poison her own peace of mind and damage her relationship with Chad. Kayla's counsel represents a lifeline for Jennifer during one of the darkest periods of her life, reminding her that healing is possible even when the wounds feel too deep to mend. An unexpected encounter reminds Kat of her responsibilities. In a brief but meaningful interaction, Kat crosses paths with Felicity Green, the young baker and fashion enthusiast portrayed by Kennedy Garcia, who brings authentic representation to the screen as the first actress with Down syndrome in a major recurring role on Days of Our Lives. Felicity, who works at Sweet Bits and has become a beloved fixture in the Salem community, represents something pure and innocent in Kat's increasingly complicated life. This chance meeting serves as a powerful reminder to Kat of exactly what's at stake in her dangerous collaboration with Rafe. Felicity needs her sister to be safe, present, and available, not embroiled in a risky undercover operation against one of Salem's most dangerous men. The encounter forces Kat to momentarily step back from the adrenaline and intrigue of her plan with Rafe and consider the very real consequences that failure would have not just for herself, but for the innocent people who depend on her. Felicity's unwavering trust and affection for her sister adds emotional weight to every decision Kat makes moving forward, as she must constantly weigh her desire for justice and redemption against her responsibility to protect and care for someone who sees only the best in her. Salem residents weigh in with serious concerns. The unfolding drama has not gone unnoticed by the citizens of Salem, many of whom have taken to expressing their concerns and skepticism about the various storylines developing throughout the town. One particularly astute viewer raised important questions about Jeremy Horton's sudden reappearance, pointing out the suspicious nature of his knowledge about Stephanie's current address and his decision to arrive bearing flowers despite their relationship having ended on terrible terms years ago. The timing and circumstances of Jeremy's return suggest that his intentions may not be as innocent as he claims, and many wonder whether he has truly changed or if he simply refined his manipulative tactics over the years. Another concerned observer expressed serious doubts about Kat's ability to successfully take down someone as experienced and dangerous as DiMera, noting that her lack of experience in undercover operations makes the plan with Rafe extremely risky and likely to backfire spectacularly. This viewer emphasized the critical fact that Felicity's well-being depends entirely on Kat's safety, making any reckless behavior on Kat's part not just personally dangerous, but potentially devastating for an innocent young woman who has already faced enough challenges in her life. These community perspectives reflect the genuine anxiety that Salem residents feel as they watch their loved ones navigate increasingly dangerous and complicated situations with uncertain outcomes. The events of Monday, October 6th promise to set in motion a chain of consequences that will reverberate throughout Salem for weeks to come. As alliances are tested, old wounds are reopened, and new dangers emerge from unexpected directions. 2. Slow Sunday, What's Really Happening to Theo on Days of Our Lives? By Rochelle Lewis, October 5, 2025, 12:20 a.m. Eastern Time. When Theo Carver walked back into Salem, fans immediately felt something was different. For longtime viewers of Days of Our Lives, Theo has always been a character who carried both vulnerability and strength. A young man shaped by tragedy, resilience, and the deep bonds of family. But now, since his most recent return, Theo's entire presence feels unfamiliar, even unsettling. This isn't just because actor Tyler Joseph Andrews has stepped into the role. It's because the Salem we know has greeted a Theo who seems older, darker, and more complicated than ever before. And the big question is, why? A whole new Theo. Theo's reintroduction has been filled with subtle but unmistakable signs that he is not the same person who left town. Once gentle, thoughtful, and even a little naive, Theo now carries himself with an edge. His words are sharper, his tone colder, and his gaze more calculating. He's no longer simply Abe Carver's kind-hearted son. He's a man carrying secrets and shadows. Soap fans took particular notice during a recent exchange with his father Abe, James Reynolds, and stepmother Paulina, Jackie Harry. Theo opened up about an old high school bully, and in doing so, he revealed an anger that viewers rarely saw in him before. It wasn't just the story itself that captured attention. It was the way Theo told it. A blend of bitterness, pride, and even menace. That moment was so striking it was named Soap Hub's Best Moment of the Week, because it reminded fans that this Theo is not just back. He's changed. A DiMera by blood. One of the most intriguing twists in Theo's storyline is his renewed connection to the DiMera family. Though Theo has always carried DiMera blood, he is, after all, Lexi Carver's son, and Lexi was the daughter of the infamous Stefano DiMera. His heritage has not always been at the center of his identity. Raised largely by Abe, Theo was encouraged to live by values of honesty, justice, and community. But now, with Tony DiMera, Theo Penglis, stepping back into the fold, there is growing speculation that Theo's darker demeanor may be tied to his uncle's influence. Tony didn't just invite Theo home to be a family man. He brought him back with purpose, and that purpose may very well be to reclaim and strengthen the DiMera legacy. Could Theo be tempted by the very world his mother once fought so hard to keep him away from? If he embraces his DiMera side, it could mean a dramatic departure from the young man Salem once knew, and it could put him in direct conflict with Abe and Paulina, who would be horrified to see Theo take up the mantle of a DiMera businessman. Old wounds with JJ. Theo's return has also revived memories of one of the most painful storylines in recent days' history. The tragic night JJ Devereaux, Casey Moss, shot him. Although the two young men eventually found peace and even built a life together in Africa, working side by side in a business venture, the scars of that night never truly healed. For JJ, the act was a haunting mistake, one that nearly cost Theo his life. For Theo, it was a trauma that lingers in every interaction with law enforcement. So when JJ put the badge back on and returned to being a cop, the old pain came rushing back. Theo may smile at JJ now, may even call him a friend, but deep down the shooting remains a wound that has never closed. His reactions, flashes of mistrust, bursts of anger, or moments of detachment, are signs of trauma, perhaps even PTSD. And for longtime viewers who watched the tragedy unfold years ago, it's heartbreaking to realize that Salem has yet to give Theo the healing he deserves. Shadows of the past. Of course, there may be even more driving Theo's transformation than his complicated family and unresolved trauma. One cannot overlook the painful breakup with Claire Brady, Isabel Durant. Their romance was young, passionate, and fragile, and when it ended, Theo was left shaken. For a man who already carried scars from the shooting, losing Claire may have been the final push into isolation and darkness. Could this heartbreak, combined with his DiMera blood and his haunted past, be reshaping him into someone new? Soap operas thrive on layered storytelling, and Theo's arc seems designed to peel back slowly, revealing one piece of the puzzle at a time. Where is this story headed? There's no question that the writers are building towards something big with Theo. His return is not just about nostalgia or recasting a familiar face. It's about reimagining a character who has always been caught between two worlds, the honesty and warmth of his father's Carver side, and the cunning, ambition, and danger of his DiMera heritage. The hints are everywhere. The way Tony hovers near him, the shadows that flicker when he speaks, and the unresolved tension with JJ. Fans know that in Salem, nothing is ever accidental. Every glance, every word, every family dinner can lead to an explosion. Will Theo give in to his DiMera side and become a major player in the family business, perhaps even a rival to EJ and Chad? Or will Abe and Paulina pull him back to the light, reminding him of the young man he once was? A character in transition. For now, Theo remains one of the most fascinating characters on Days of Our Lives. His return has sparked conversation, stirred emotions, and reminded viewers that no one truly comes back to Salem unchanged. Whether his darkness grows or fades will depend on the choices he makes in the weeks ahead, and on how much his family, friends, and even old loves are willing to fight for him. One thing is certain, Theo's story is far from over.